All right, so here we go on James 2:6. But you have dishonored the poor man. Is it not the rich who oppress you and personally drag you into court? So remember where we're at. James was talking about not showing favoritism or discriminating. And then he talked about how God chooses the poor to be rich in faith. And now James 2:6 picks up there. But you have dishonored or insulted the poor man. And this is where you got two people that walk in. The poor man gets the cruddy seat or the footstool. And then the well-dressed guy, he gets the seat of honor. So is it not the rich? Now, this is the first time James has actually used the word rich. Before then, he was just talking about the well-dressed man. So, is it not the rich or wealthy who oppress you? And this is tyranny or exercising harsh control and personally drag you into court. So, now, James, again, was the half-brother of Jesus, so they probably went to school together, and so they probably had, walking home from school, in middle school, high school, probably had some discussions, and Jesus was laying some truth bombs down there. And again, that's Jesus, the one, the Son of God, the one who died for our sins and came back to life, proving that he could beat death. So James and Jesus probably had some discussions there, high school, middle school, and, it's one of those things, it's all like, from those times, when we think back on our times, it's all like, who were the kids that bullied other kids? The poor kids? Who was the kids that had their own little clique and nobody else could be a part of that? Was that the poor kids? Not so much. Okay, so now that we know what it looks like and that lesson that we learned in middle school, high school, now let's bring it up to the adult level here. And that's, when it comes to bakers or photographers getting dragged into court. Is that the poor people doing that? How about now? Right now it's 2022. Think back a couple of years ago. There were certain stores, most of it were the small stores or restaurants that were forced to close down, and the bigger stores, the Walmarts and the Amazons and those types of things, they were allowed to stay open. So again, was that the poor people that were shutting down the stores, or was that the rich people who made off like bandits? They definitely saw some earnings increase there, and so you can kind of see there, and also if those smaller restaurants decided that they were going to reopen, well, a lot of them got dragged into court. Okay, now, we're not saying that all rich people are bad. We have Abraham, we have Solomon in the Bible that we can look in on. But we also have examples in the Bible of where it was the rich people dragging people into court. We have Acts 16:19. Paul and Silas, they're going through town and they cast a demon out of this one girl who was using that for divining, and her masters were making some good money off of her. Well, after they cast out the demon, she wasn't able to use her talent anymore, and the owners brought them to court, had them beaten and thrown in jail. So when it comes to this, again, it's one of those things. James is warning us, don't show favoritism, especially to the rich. So he's using an actual example here because it's the rich that are going to be the ones who abuse you. The poor people, they're not going to use eminent domain to trample your property rights. That's going to be the rich people. So again, James is just using an example here. He goes into more detail later in the next verse, but he's just saying, dude, don't show favoritism, especially to the rich, because the rich are going to be the ones that do you dirty. It's not going to be the poor people, because we should actually be reaching out to these poor people and showing them the love of Christ.